everybody, and welcome back to the F2 show by Inside F2. I'm your host, Fraser Ford, and joining me for this week's episode of the F2 show, we have our very own Aaron Harper and Emily Sands, and we also have a very special guest joining us on today's show, Formula 2 debutant, last time out, Josh Mason.
Hi, everyone.
Good to have you with us, Josh. Aaron, Emily, I'll come to you guys first. Aaron, I imagine you've been digging out the scrapbooks when you were back at Silverstone, back watching Fangio back in the day. And Emily, I imagine you've been sat staring at the walls, manifesting more Jack Doohan wins. No, that's how your weeks have gone.
Yeah, I mean, I'm delving into my archives of junior Formula, and just going through all the Formula 3000 winners, the glory days of Nick Heidfeld and GP2, Lewis Hamilton at Turkey. Just reliving the glory days.
Good stuff. And Emily, manifesting those Jack Doohan. I've spent a week hoping Jack Doohan, this is no disrespect for Jack Doohan, by the way, we love Jack Doohan, but hoping he doesn't win the title. Bearing in mind, if he does win the title, I have to do a shoey. So for anyone who's watching for the first time on the podcast, that's a bit of context behind that. But Emily, you're a big fan, aren't you? You've been manifesting more Jack Doohan wins?
I'm never going to hear the end of this, am I? It's going to be constant for the next season. That's exactly what I've been doing. I have not done anything else. I've just stared at wall for the last 2 weeks. You're completely right, Fraser. How did you know?
I did think so. And it's exactly how that's played out. I've actually, it's nice we had Lawrence on the podcast last time out to reflect on the 2024 calendar, which was released last week. So it's nice to have a bit of a break from you guys, Emily and Aaron, I'm not going to lie. But anyway, enough of that nonsense. Let's get into it. Our special guest, Josh Mason, very warm welcome to the podcast. First of all, how are you? And you've actually just returned from the US, is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. So I was actually watching the IndyCar in Nashville this weekend. Obviously it's our summer break. So I thought I'd just take the time to go over there and have a look at the different side of racing over the pond.
How was that? Is IndyCar something it gets you excited?
I enjoyed the experience. It was my second IndyCar race I've been to. Very different over here in Europe of how the philosophy of racing is. I think that's what I like most about it. It's just different. Even though the competition is the same, and as a driver you want to go in and win. I think the whole atmosphere and how they engage with their fans and the audience is actually pretty incredible.
Yeah, really cool. I bet that was a cool experience. Let's get into the nitty gritty then. You obviously made your Formula 2 debut in Spa. How would you reflect on that debut weekend for you in Formula 2?
I'll say it was okay. It was a bit of a baptism of fire. I was expecting to be home watching the race on TV, and then all of a sudden the phone rang saying that you'll be racing in it this weekend, or that weekend, sorry. For me, it was a completely new learning curve. Everything about it, the car, the procedures, the racing format, everything was thrown at me, and I had to learn it in the space of a weekend. But I'll say overall it was good, and I'm just looking forward to improve further.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk to me about how the opportunity came about then. What did the week look like leading up to Spa? Did PHM approach you? Did your management approach PHM? How did that work? How did you end up in that position?
Oh, that was actually interesting. So that whole entire week was completely crazy. Effectively, I was at home in my lovely bed, about to go to bed, and it was Tuesday at midnight, and my phone rang, and it was actually my dad who called me, and he said, "Josh, this opportunity's come up. I think you'll be very interested." While I was midway, like half asleep, I was like, "Oh, Dad, please come on! It's like midnight over here. I'm trying to get my sleep." And he said, "Josh, you'll be racing Formula 2 this weekend with PHM." All of a sudden, completely woke up. I was completely awake. I was like, "Dad, are you kidding me?" He goes, "No, Josh's opportunities come across, and they want you to race." So that entire night, I didn't sleep. I was completely wide awake. And what was going through my mind is, to get there and just enjoy and learn as much in the weekend. So the call did come from my dad. So yeah, that's how I got in touch with PHM Racing.
Do you kind of leave that stuff to your management team to sort? You kind of just let them crack on, and that was the first time you heard of it. Did you know that was you interested in racing in Formula 2, or what was the process?
Yeah, the process was we were definitely interested in racing Formula 2, but this year was actually a very quiet one. This year was just more of a driver development for me to hopefully move into Formula 2 for 2024. But all of a sudden, that working with my management literally came super early. So the management has been taken over to get me into Formula 2 for next season. But no, they've done a brilliant job to get me in now, really. So.
Yeah, great. I think Aaron and Emily, you've got a few questions lined up for Josh, haven't you? So, Emily, over to you.
Yeah, sure. So obviously you said that it was a quieter year for you this year in driving development. Obviously, when you got that call, like you said, you were really excited. I wanted to know obviously you got that call on the Tuesday, and then I take it you probably started straight away, like either the Wednesday or the Thursday. In terms of training and obviously stepping into an F2 car and maybe even diet a little bit, was there anything that you were told by a trainer that you had to really work on quickly for the weekend?
Really, my trainer told me to work more on the neck. There's a lot of G's in a Formula 2 car. But for me, definitely through Puom and going for a Rouge is not fun on the neck at all. But no, for me it was nothing changed on the training side. Beginning of the season or beginning of 2023, I knew that I won't be racing much this year. So for me, I just kept up with my routine of the training, the dieting, because racing is very unpredictable. You never know what will happen or what might come up. So I think that's, for me, the training side, I was in a good shape heading to this weekend. It's just lucky how I kept my motivation and discipline, I guess, in the gym and the food was on my plate every single day since January. So I think that definitely helped.
Obviously, there must have been some doubts, maybe a bit of nervousness. I mean, Spa is a pretty, that's like the track. We've seen a lot of things happen there over the years. So deep down, there must have been some sort of maybe not scared, but some sort of doubts and nervousness coming into it. How did you deal with that and just focus on the weekend and getting good results and learning as much as you can?
I think, like I said, it's the complete mindset. Off track, and a lot of people do know I do a lot of meditation away from the track, because I think that's also important for as my mental health, as just growing up as an individual. I think it's really important. But over the weekend, I had to do a lot of meditation because Spa and the wet, especially that weekend in a car which I've never driven before, was a lot to take. So of course, I'll be honest, there were a lot of nerves going in this weekend. I actually spoke to a friend who was actually racing Formula 3 that weekend, and I said to him openly saying, look, I am very nervous, and he responded to me saying, well, Josh, if you weren't nervous, then something's not right. So I took that approach and just basically calmed myself for the weekend and just focused on my job was to learn and try and get better and better each session I had.
Who was that friend? Can you say?
Yes, his name was Christian Mansell.
Nice. And I guess it's reassuring for you to have people you can turn to in those situations, right? Because I'm sure every driver up and down the grid is very nervous on their debut. So it's I guess it's great to have someone like Christian who you can turn to and just give you that reassurance, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. But it wasn't just him who gave me that reassurance. A lot of the F2 team bosses for each team, were like to me, Josh, enjoy the weekend. It's a lot asking from you, to jump in this at this time of the championship and around Spa is not easy. But I think my favorite comment was from Fritz van Amersfoort. He said to me, Josh, I think you're bloody crazy for doing this, number one. And you deserve a point for just coming and doing this. So he said, just enjoy the weekend and good luck. But those words from Fritz were very, very interesting, but, it definitely helped me calm myself through the weekend.
Thank you for watching on YouTube. To watch the full video and other exclusive content, check out the link in the description to access our Spotify content.